The room smells like expensive coffee and desperation. Beverly Hills, 1996. A conference table so polished you can see your failure reflected in it. Jackie Chan sits at one end, 3 producers at the other, the kind of men who shake your hand while already thinking about the next meeting. One of them leans forward, smiles. The smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Jackie, let me be honest with you." Pause. "America doesn't understand you." Jackie doesn't move. His face remains calm, but his hands tighten slightly on the armrest. The producer continues, "Your accent, your style, the way you move, it's very foreign." That word hangs in the air. Foreign. Another producer joins in, softer, kinder, more dangerous. "What we're saying is, we see potential, we do, but you have to meet us halfway." Jackie tilts his head slightly. "Halfway?" "Yes, halfway. Tone down the comedy. Work on the accent. Maybe take supporting roles for now. Build trust with American audiences." The third producer hasn't spoken yet. He's scrolling through his phone under the table. He doesn't even look up when he says, "We loved Rumble in the Bronx. We did. But that was niche. Chinatown audiences, international markets. We need mainstream." Silence. Jackie looks at them, one by one. He's been in this room before. Different faces, same script. "I see." That's all he says. The meeting ends with polite handshakes, promises to stay in touch, business cards exchanged that will never be called. Jackie walks out. The door closes behind him, and something shifts. Not in the room, in him. Let's rewind. 2 hours earlier, Jackie Chan arrives at the office building in Beverly Hills. Valet parking, glass elevators, marble floors. Everything here whispers money. He's wearing a black jacket, simple, clean. He's been to these meetings a dozen times now, each one the same, each one a little more exhausting. His agent had called him 3 days ago. "Jackie, this one's different. They're serious. They've seen your Hong Kong work. They want to build something." Jackie had heard that before, but he came anyway, because hope is a cruel thing. It keeps you showing up even when you know better. The meeting starts the way they always do. Compliments. "We're huge fans. Your work in Hong Kong is incredible. You're a legend over there. Over there. Always over there. Never here." One of the producers pulls up a clip on his laptop. It's from Police Story. The shopping mall scene. Jackie sliding down a pole wrapped in Christmas lights. Glass exploding around him. The producers watch. One of them whistles. "That's insane. You really did that yourself?" Jackie nods. "No stunt double." "Jesus, you're a maniac." They laugh. Jackie smiles politely, but he knows what's coming next. There's always a but. "Here's the thing though, Jackie," and there it is. "That style, it works in Hong Kong, it works in Asia, but American audiences, they're different." Jackie listens. They want heroes they can relate to, someone who sounds like them, looks like them. The second producer jumps in. "And the comedy, the physical comedy, Americans don't really get that. They want serious action, like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, you know?" Jackie knows. He's heard this speech in 5 different offices. "What about Bruce Lee?" The question comes out before he can stop it. The room shifts. One producer clears his throat. "Bruce was different. He was angry, intense. He had this presence." What he doesn't say, and he spoke better English than you. What he doesn't say, and he's dead, so he's easier to mythologize. Jackie nods slowly. "I understand," but he doesn't. The third producer finally looks up from his phone. "Look, we're not saying you can't make it here. We're saying you need to adapt." That word again. Adapt, change, shrink yourself until you fit into their box. We're thinking maybe a supporting role, sidekick, comic relief. Let an American lead carry the movie. You come in, do your thing, get some laughs, build your brand that way. Comic relief. Jackie Chan, 5-time Hong Kong Film Award winner, director, choreographer, producer, reduced to comic relief. He looks at the window. Outside, Los Angeles stretches endlessly. Palm trees, blue sky, the Hollywood sign somewhere in the distance. He came here with a dream. He's leaving with a reminder. This city doesn't want him. It wants a version of him that doesn't exist. Jackie's mind drifts. While the producers keep talking, his thoughts pull him somewhere else. Hong Kong, 1985, the set of Police Story. Blood on his hands from a stunt gone wrong. His director yelling at him to go to the hospital. Jackie refusing. We finish the shot first. That's who he is, stubborn, relentless, willing to break himself for the work. He built his career on that. No one handed him anything. No one said, "Here, Jackie, here's your big break." He earned it, scar by scar, broken bone by broken bone. He thinks about his first Hollywood attempt, The Big Brawl, 1980. It bombed, not because the film was bad, but because American audiences didn't know what to do with him. He wasn't Bruce Lee. He smiled too much, joked too much. He fought like he was dancing, not killing. And America wanted killers. Then the Cannonball Run, a glorified cameo. He barely had lines. They put him in a car and told him to look foreign. He did, and it felt like dying a little. Then came Rumble in the Bronx, 1995. His breakout, sort of. It made money. Not huge money, but enough. Enough to get him in rooms like this. Enough to make people pretend they understood him. But they don't. They see his face and hear his accent and think, he'll never be the lead. They see his stunts and think, that's cute, but can he act? They see his humor and think, we can use that, as long as he knows his place. Jackie snaps back to the present. One of the producers is still talking. And if you work on the accent, take some classes, we think you could really... I've been acting for 30 years. The producer stops. Jackie's voice is quiet, but it cuts through the room. I've directed, I've written, I've choreographed fights that people still watch, in Hong Kong, in Japan, in Europe. I don't need classes. Silence. The producer shifts in his seat. Of course, we're not saying you're not talented. We're saying American audiences have expectations. Jackie nods. I understand, but he's done. He's done pretending this is a conversation. It's not. It's a lecture, a gentle, polite dismantling of everything he is. Jackie sits in his car, engine off. The parking garage is mostly empty. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. He stares at the steering wheel. His phone rings. His agent. He doesn't answer. Outside, Beverly Hills glitters. Expensive restaurants, designer stores, people who've never been told they're too foreign. He thinks about calling his wife, telling her he's coming home, not to Los Angeles, to Hong Kong, where people understand him, where he doesn't have to explain himself, where his accent isn't a problem. But then he remembers something, a conversation, years ago, his mentor, an old stuntman in Hong Kong. You know what they'll say about you if you quit? What? That you weren't good enough? Even if that's not true? Especially if that's not true. Jackie closes his eyes. He's not good enough. Not for Hollywood, not for their version of success. But maybe that's the point. Maybe he's been trying to fit into a space that was never meant for him. Maybe the answer isn't to change. Maybe it's to build something new. He starts the car, pulls out of the garage, drives down Wilshire Boulevard, past the billboards, the movie posters, faces he doesn't recognize selling movies he'll never watch. He stops at a red light. A bus passes by. On the side, an ad for the new Stallone movie, The Hero America Needs. Jackie looks at it, and something clicks. He doesn't need to be Stallone. He doesn't need to be Schwarzenegger. He doesn't even need to be Bruce Lee. He just needs to be Jackie Chan. The problem isn't him. The problem is that Hollywood doesn't have a box for him yet. So, he'll build the box himself. He pulls into a 24-hour diner, orders coffee, sits in a corner booth, takes out a napkin, starts writing. Not a script, a philosophy. Don't hide the accent, use it. Don't tone down the comedy, make it the center. Don't try to be American, be the bridge. He writes until the coffee goes cold, until the waiter asks if he wants a refill, until the sun starts to rise over Los Angeles, and by the time he leaves that diner, he's not the same man who walked into that meeting. Months pass. Jackie doesn't take the supporting roles. He doesn't go to the accent classes. He doesn't change. Instead, he waits, because the right project isn't about compromise, it's about alignment. Then he gets a call. A director, Brett Ratner, a script, Rush Hour. It's a buddy cop movie, you and Chris Tucker. Jackie reads it. It's exactly what Hollywood told him would never work. A Chinese cop, in America, with an accent, doing comedy, but there's something different about this script. It doesn't ask him to hide, it asks him to be exactly who he is. The accent, part of the joke. The physicality, the whole point. The cultural clash, the heart of the story. Jackie says yes. Filming is chaos. Chris Tucker talks non-stop. Jackie barely keeps up. But that's the magic. The script is written for misunderstanding, for miscommunication, for two people from completely different worlds trying to solve a crime together, and somehow it works. Jackie does a stunt where he slides under a truck. The crew gasps. Chris Tucker watches and says, "Man, you're crazy." Jackie grins. "I know." The movie wraps. The studio is nervous. Test screenings go well, but nobody's sure. Will America accept him? That question again. August 1998. Rush Hour releases. Opening weekend. $33 million. The studio is shocked. By the end of its run, $244 million worldwide. Suddenly, every producer in Hollywood wants Jackie Chan, the same ones who told him to change, the same ones who said America wouldn't understand. Now, they're calling his agent. "We'd love to work with Jackie. We always believed in him. He's exactly what we need." Jackie listens to these offers and politely declines most of them because he remembers. He remembers every but, every if you could just, every America doesn't understand you. He makes Rush Hour 2, then Shanghai Noon, then Rush Hour 3. He becomes one of the biggest stars in the world, not by changing, by refusing to. Years later, Jackie is asked about that time, the rejection, the meetings, the doubt. He's in his 60s now, gray hair, tired eyes, but still smiling. "Did it hurt?" the interviewer asks. Jackie pauses. "Of course it hurt." "Did you ever think about quitting?" "Every day." "What stopped you?" Jackie thinks. "I realized something. Hollywood didn't reject me. They rejected the idea of me, and ideas can change." The interviewer leans in. "How did you change their idea?" Jackie smiles. "I didn't. I just waited until they caught up." Fade to black. Silence. Then Jackie's voice, one last time. "They told me America doesn't understand me." Pause. "Maybe they were right." Pause. "But I never needed them to understand me." Pause. "I just needed them to watch."